Hey, good morning. You made it. Yes. It is Friday, May 23rd, right? I think so. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I thought we'd talk about why it, not why, but I get this asked a lot. How do I know what parts to order? And this may relate to you as a homeowner that is trying to find their own parts, to a weekend warrior nights and weekends. Not so much you shops that are doing it every day, weekday, Monday through Friday, and part days on Saturday, because you've already got access to. But we'll talk about that too if you aren't already doing it. So stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. If you didn't already know it, and yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Friday. Today is the end of the work week. And 2025, May 23rd. So, what are we actually going to be talking about today? Well, I thought we'd break it down. And the breakdown is going to be for the novice right through to hopefully the skilled repair shops. All right. And that is, how do I know and what to get for parts? And how do I source them? What's the best way to source my parts? And this has been a controversy for I don't know how long. I'm not getting paid by anybody to bring my views to the table. So I try to give you the best information that I know without any hindrance from the outside community. But if you're a homeowner, the best way you can source parts, if you don't know how to do a parts lookup or you have no ambition to do a parts lookup, is to go to your local dealer shop if they sell retail and ask them to do it for you and order the parts that you need for your machine. Now, most of your repair shops don't have a retail. All right? So here's your problem. Your repair shops know how to do the parts lookup and find what you need, but they're not selling retail. Your retail shops very rarely know how to do parts lookup, and they figure you should have the part number when you come in or know what you're looking for to fix your own machine. So you're kind of in that, where the hell do I go? Here's where you go. All right. First thing you need to know is, what is the make and model of your machine and your serial number. Why is that important? That is important because a lot of times with your part number or your model number off the machine, for all your cubbies, I think it starts at 13 Troy Builts. They all start like a 13, 14, and then they have a letter system. But they have a breakdown on serial numbers from 1 to 990,000, and then they change something midway through the years. So anything over that number, serial number, now you have to look it up under a different parts lookup. Again, this is really simple, folks. Don't overcomplicate how you do it. The only ones that you're going to have a problem with are John Deere. John Deere, they do have a parts catalog that you can find the parts, but there's just limited people that have access to that. I'm thinking now John Deere has made a portal so that the average homeowner can create an account and be able to log into it to check parts to order parts and check on parts through their local dealers online. We have access to the portal to find out what the parts are and the part numbers, and we can find aftermarkets from there. That's something that you shops are going to want to be aware of. But we're going to start again with the homeowner. You, the homeowner, all you need is your make, model, and serial number. Those three things. So now let's go to Google. Type in your model number into the Google search and then hit search. And all of a sudden you're going to see all these companies come up. Jack's, can't even think of all of them, but there's quite a few of them there. Parts Tree, but they've all got breakdowns. And back when we were doing it strong, there was a company out there that took all these catalogs into one location, and if you wanted to pay, I think it was like $700 a month, they would give you access to those catalogs as long as you were a actual dealer for those brands. They don't just give you the catalog and then for your customers to access. You have to also be a registered business with that brand, whether it be Briggs, Kohler. Get my drift? But for the average homeowner, just by putting your model number, and then if you get to one of these sites that shows the model number and the breakdown, there's also where it breaks it down by serial number if they made any changes throughout that year. So you need to know that. So it's easy peasy from there. It should be. So now you just take and you look through the catalog of that particular piece of equipment that you have. If it's on the deck, bring the deck schematics up. If it's on some of these, they cover some engine parts on it. And if that machine carried the same engine, only one style engine, because the manufacturers of, let's say, a riding lawnmower didn't always just stick with Briggs. That model might come with a Briggs, might come with a Kohler, might come with Tecumseh. See where I'm going? So in those particular breeds, the model number is not going to tell you about the engine parts. It's just going to tell you about the chassis parts, whether it be the mower deck, belts, spindles, all that, blades, the drive chassis, whether that's front steering axles, steering parts, drive belts, transaxles, if you're getting my drift here. And any other part that's on that machine, electrical, like your switches, your light switches, your key switches, and so forth. If they carried more than one engine on that, then the engine schematics won't come up. And then you're going to have to do a little bit more homework. And the homework is, if you take a Briggs is, they pretty much all have overhead valves now. And that's that silver shiny cover on the front. Okay? On almost 99% of the Briggs, there is on that valve cover stamped. It's not with a sticker and stuff like that. It's actually stamped into the cover what the model number is on that Briggs engine. So taking that number and just putting it back into Google will also bring it up so that you can do the schematics, break it down, and then you can start looking at fuel pumps and push rods. If you're getting depends on how deep you want to get into it. All right, and then from there, whether you're doing a chassis or an engine, you can jump over to eBay and Amazon. Those are the two biggies. And that's where you probably can get the cheapest parts. Now, it's well known in this industry, and there's so much back and forth of the quality of the parts. I think if the Chinese would ship you the correct part, you'd be alright. But a lot of times they think one carburetor will fit a gazillion different machines when it doesn't. And why is it when you go to your retail outlet that they're saying it's no longer available or it's back ordered? What's going on with that? And us as repair shops, we're facing the same thing. And see, what's really going on behind the scenes, and I'm probably going to get some blowback, which is fine, is the manufacturer has made boatloads of money over the years. Your aftermarket companies made boatloads of money over the number of years. That's why they went to China in the first place, is because they could get the Chinese to do it pennies on the dollar compared to having it produced here in the U.S. But what happened when they did that? And I don't feel bad for them. They're crying foul, but I don't feel sorry for them. You took work from American workers and said, no, we're shipping it overseas or to Mexico. Cry your crocodile tears, I don't care. What it comes right down to it is the manufacturer would make a boatload. The aftermarket companies were making boatload. But here's what happens. After a couple of years of the Chinese doing this, they have the schematics, they have the specs, they have everything going out through a plant that is in China. Now, to visualize this, look at it this way. Out the front is going the OEM and aftermarkets, okay? Out the back is headed to the market, eBay and Amazon, a knockoff, and it's basically the same thing coming out of the back end of the manufacturer's building coming in. And when you look at going for OEM Walboro carburetors are almost $70 my cost, over $100 your cost, and you can get it for $9.99 from a Chinese seller, and it's got fuel line, fuel filter, primer bulb, all these goodies, gaskets. What the hell? How much money have these other ones been making on it? Yes, they have to incur the shipping cost to get it here. The manufacturing and the shipping cost. Yes, the Chinese have found a loophole that came about back when we had wars going on for soldiers to send stuff home, was the e-packet. And so the Chinese, if they could keep it under a certain weight, didn't pay even close to the postage that we were paying first class to ship it to anywhere in the States. They were sending it from country to country on the backs of us. So what it ends up being is comparing apples to apples and not apples to oranges. I think through the OEM and the aftermarket companies, there's more quality control. I've said this before. I've been told that the ones that the Chinese are selling are rejects. I don't really believe that. But the Chinese now are well known for shipping you whatever they happen to have a gazillion of and hope that it solves your problem instead of sending you the correct carburetor. Because they don't want to have too many product lines. That's the drift of it. So that's how the homeowner, can go out and get your parts. And if you don't understand how to do a parts lookup and you don't want to do it online, which is very easy, then go to your parts place, the repair shop that's also selling parts, or just a parts store, and they'll do the lookup for you. But for them to do the lookup for you is going to cost you money because they're going to sell at a markup. Even if they're buying from the Chinese, they have to sell at a markup to cover their costs. I hear this, well, I can get it on eBay for $10 and they're trying to sell it for $30 for the same damn thing. Yeah, but they got overhead. They've got mouths to feed if they got employees. They got a building to pay for, whether it's a lease mortgage. They've got taxes to pay each year, employee costs, utilities costs. There's a list, and it's just nonstop. Seems like every time I turn around, I'm writing a check for something else. So if it's an established business where you can walk into it, yeah, it's going to cost you more money. And the biggest reason is they got overhead. Well, they shouldn't be making money off from me. Well, if you want them local to help you do stuff, then you need to support them. If not, buy it from the Chinese. And if you're looking to fix it in a few days, it's not happening. Because now what I'm seeing is weeks is how long it takes to get stuff. Even if it's an Amazon, at least in my case, because I have Amazon Prime too. Oh, we guarantee next day delivery. Bullcrap. Bullcrap to that. Used to be, yes, we used to get within a couple days. Now it could be a week or two. And that's from Amazon. From an Amazon warehouse. They lost their contracts with USPS and UPS because they were too cheap. They now have to pay the same postage as us, and it costs them money. So they're trying to make their own delivery service. If you can't beat them, join them. But they're still delayed. Unless you live in a major city, you aren't getting it in a couple days. But the place you can get it same day is in one of your retail establishments that have them in stock. What a lot of shops are doing now is they're keeping low inventories. And you as a shop should be doing the same thing. Because things are being discontinued after 3 years. And those parts that you have in stock will no longer fix the machines that are coming in that are 3 years or newer, right? Now you got to have a whole bunch of different parts. So, I mean, even Jason, you said it, and a number of others have said it. Buy it as you need it. For us, I know the oil filters, I know the spark plugs, I know the fuel filters. Air filters are one of those order as you need them. Carry a couple of the most used ones, but still you can order them as you need them. If you're running a real repair shop with a tax ID, business name, year in there, both feet in, then you can deal with the aftermarket companies and the OEMs, depending on how deep you want to get in with them. Start off with the aftermarket companies, because they can have it to you usually the next day. And when I say the next day, if I order today, now today's Friday, I should get it Monday night. USPS is how it works here. If I order on a Monday morning, I'll have it Tuesday night for Wednesday morning. See what I'm saying? So you have it usually within a day to two to do the repairs. If you're ordering it on eBay, a week or two, most cases. If you're ordering it from the OEM distributors, most of that I find is the same thing as the aftermarket within a day or two. We've had some that when we were dealing with a warehouse distributor right in our state, if I ordered that morning, I would have it that afternoon. That's how quick that unit was. That was great. Spoils you too. Alright, so that's for the homeowner and even the do-it-yourselfer. Your nights and weekends where you're doing family machines or you're doing it as a side business trying to make a few extra bucks, but you're not tax ID'd, you're not all the other good stuff. Is how to look up things and then how to find them on eBay and Amazon. They don't require a tax ID. If you're going to deal with the aftermarket companies, especially like Stens, they want to sell to repair shops. And here's the little secret that nobody tells you, and that is a warranty on parts. If you deal with an aftermarket company like Stens, they expect you to have a repair shop and in turn use those parts through a repair shop. So if you buy a PTO clutch off from them, they want you installing it to have the warranty stay in effect. If you are selling that PTO clutch to a customer to do their own installation, Stens won't cover the warranty on it. And it's because there's too many different variables of what could go wrong. A customer could install that part wrong, have it destroyed, and want a new one. Whereas if you have a repair shop, it's kind of a given that you know what the hell you're doing, hopefully, and you're putting in their parts correctly. Same thing with the OEM companies. They aren't looking for you to sell retail. They're looking for you to use it in your own repair shop. Aftermarket companies, they could care less. They could care, not aftermarket, but eBay and Amazon, they could care less. The Chinese could care less where you're using those parts. So keep that in mind when it comes to warrantying those parts. Because like Stens and Rotary will say, well, we'll warranty it up to a full year. They will, as long as you meet these conditions. And look in the fine print and you'll find it. I don't blame them. I totally understand where they're coming from. If any Tom, Dick, and Harry is given a $200 PTO clutch to put on their machine, hopefully they know what the heck they're doing. Because if I have to warranty that part and they don't know what they're doing, why should I pay for that? They may have fried the unit by hooking it up wrong. You see what I'm saying? So that's where they're coming from, and I totally understand that. For a shop, if you're just getting started, most of you guys, you remember the microfilm where you used to put it in the thing and then start looking up parts, or the card index, or the catalogs you used to go through, everything's done online now. You still get the catalogs for the old timers, and we get one here. I usually give out a couple to my regulars, and we have one on the counter for customers to look through. But everything for me is done online. I don't do any searching through catalogs, microfilm, all these other old time oddities that went out the window back in the 90s. You know, we're at the digital age, and you need to get digital or go out like the dinosaurs. And I was listening to a piece on the radio yesterday, coming back from visiting my wife, and they were talking about with the Doge and Dr. Oz of trying to make Medicare, Medicaid more, bring it up to the year 2025. And I do all my medical stuff through an online account. I have my own. I can log in. I can check any labs that I've done, upcoming appointments. It has everything there, right? And what they're doing is, instead of having all these different departments, they're getting each other to work with each other. So that means less people needed, less work. But the only thing I'm kind of questionable about is they want to get AI involved in it. And I'm still not sold on 100% on AI and what it can and can't do. But supposedly for the people that are having issues like diabetes and this and that, they're going to give you an AI coach to work with you of what you could be doing to minimize your hospitalizations, your gangrenes, and everything else. And that you can ask questions at any time, and AI will have the answer for you. I played around with ChatGPT and also with Copilot for Microsoft, and you really need to proof them before you do anything with them, because they aren't always right. AI is not always right. AI doesn't look at human interaction and reflection. It just looks at A plus B equals C. Now, if A is having problems with B, it's not going to equal C in the human nature. But AI doesn't see that. It just says yada, yada, yada. And that's the way it should be. Now, for you guys that are running a shop and stuff, I would hope you already know how to do a parts lookup so that you can fix your customer's machine. If not, refer back to the beginning of this video and listen to how you can do a parts lookup. The other thing is creating a record of from customers from year to year to year and their machines. And you could do that simply with an Excel file. Have an Excel sheet, your customer, machine, and the different makes and models of their units. At least a gazillion times a year I get called from customers saying, Eric, I need a deck belt for my machine. Like I have some kind of weird telekinesis that I can look out and know what your machine is. But now I keep track of your machine. I keep track of what we've done on it from year to year. And I know what the make and model is and the serial number is because I have it written down in my Excel file. And I know what repairs that we're seeing on a regular basis. And it also is helpful for servicing. And you can have on your Excel sheet, your name of your customer, the make and model of the machine, serial number of the machine, how many hours are on it from year to year to year so you can keep track. When was the last service date on it? What was done? Was it a complete service or a minor service? When was the last time the blades were replaced? I mean, you can make a list of whatever you want in Excel, all right? And then you could have a reminder system if you have the customer's email that reminding them in February to start thinking about getting the lawnmower in their service. We're running the special between now and April 1st. That if you bring your machine in by then, we'll give you 10% off. But after April 1st, that's when we get the main rush. And then end of May, usually the end of May, is when your persons that wait till the last friggin' minute. But you'll get some of those customers to come in and have it done early, before April. And then, as we talked about, you also have some customers you can push into the fall of the year to save 10%. So that you're making money and you're spreading it out. When you're doing business in our type of business, you get your bread and butter in the spring of the year when most people want their mowers serviced. And you can't budget by those 2 or 3 months, right? Those 2 or 3 months have got to be spread out over 12 months and billing for 12 months. So keep that in mind. So on that note, you guys have a great Friday. Enjoy your weekend. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. I know my son's picking my truck up in the morning to fix a parking brake issue. And then Sunday I got my grandson's baseball game, so I'll probably go to that. But on that note, you guys have a great weekend.